Ramily, Ramily, Ramily. Pre-game show. Lions versus Rams in Detroit this Sunday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ford Field. Go watch it on NBC or any of your free streaming devices that you may have. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Vibes are high right now. We got what we wanted, and it seems like the Lions got what they wanted. I think they wanted Stafford to be their first matchup to set their landscape towards their possible Super Bowl run. But be careful what you ask for. We are a team that just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago with the core still intact. Outside of Jalen Ramsey, yeah, we lost Odell Beckham, but is Odell better than Puka? I don't think so at all. Let's look at some quick stats for the Rams. Team stats. So pass yards, the Rams average 239 yards of offense. Game 4,063 yards, ranking 10th in the NFL. Rush yards, 120.3 yards per game, total of 2,045 yards, 11th ranked in the NFL. Points scored, 23.8, 8th in the league. Pass yards against, defense, secondary, 20th in the NFL at 231 yards per game. Rush yards against, 106.8, 12th in the NFL, and then points allowed 22.2, 19th in the NFL. So the Rams offense, top 10. Defense, middle of the pack, but as of late, Rams really are showing up against the run. Against the pass, believe it or not, DVOA, actually, they're a little bit better the second half of the season than they were the first half of the season. A big part of what you're hearing about in our secondary is blown coverages. Tends to be happening when we have some a good sized lead, but nonetheless, it is happening. Jordan Fuller probably doesn't play this one, so we will be relying on Russ Yeast. On the Lions side, they have a top 5 offense. Pass yards, they're ranked number 2. Rush yards, number 5. Points scored, 27.1, good for 5th in the NFL. Their defense, this is the spot you have to attack. Their secondary, 27th in the NFL. Rush yards, they're actually number 2, 88.8 yards allowed, and points allowed, 23rd, 23.2. So their defense is not that good. If you're a bettor, the Rams this year have registered a 10-6-1 record against the spread. The Rams are 4-3-1 against the spread when underdogs by 3 points or more this season, and the spread is 3.5, depending on where you bet. Los Angeles Rams have gone over the total 9 times this year. Total for this one is 51. This season, the Rams have been the underdog 8 times and won 2 of those games. Los Angeles Rams have a record of 2-5 in games where sports books have them as underdogs of at least plus 145 on the money line. And bookmakers have implied with the money line set for this matchup that the Rams have a 40.8% chance of winning.
Music licensing
Through 15 games played this year, Matthew Stafford has 3,965 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 62.6% completion percentage. Kyren Williams, 95.3 rush yards per game in 12 games. Third in the NFL with total yards rushing and 12 rushing touchdowns with 3 receiving touchdowns on 32 catches, 206 yards. Puka Nacua, NFL records right here for a rookie receiver. 105 catches, 1,486 yards, which is 4th in the NFL, and 6 receiving touchdowns. Cooper Kupp missed 4 games. Pretty much was banged up a lot of the season, but I will get more on Cooper Kupp soon. 59 catches, 737 yards, 5 touchdowns in 12 games. Well, he actually missed 5 because we sat him the last game. On defense, Ernest Jones set a Rams single-season record in tackles, 145 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 6 passes defended. Byron Young, rookie, third rounder, 61 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. Jordan Fuller, unfortunately, are a strong piece to our secondary. 93 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 3 interceptions, 17 games, but he may not play this one. Let me see the latest on him. He did not practice, so it's really in doubt. Aaron Donald, 53 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 3 passes defended. And Kobe, the GOAT Turner, 9 sacks, third rounder, rookie defensive tackle. Only Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh have done that. Let's look at the Lions offense. I think we know this guy well. Jared Goff ranks second in the NFL with 4,575 passing yards, 67.3 completion percentage, and 30 touchdowns, fourth in the NFL with only 12 interceptions. Probably one of his best seasons. I still would say the second and third season he had in LA, mainly that third, was probably his best, our Super Bowl run. Amon St. Brown, a Pro Bowl snub, 1,515 receiving yards, third in the NFL on 164 targets with 119 receptions, second in the NFL. He's averaging 94.7 yards per game at 7.4 catches per game with 10 receiving touchdowns, good for fourth in the NFL. David Montgomery has 13 rushing touchdowns and 1,015 yards, ninth in the NFL, and he's also missed some time. Jahmyr Gibbs, their other running back, 945 yards, 10 touchdowns. So they have 23 rushing touchdowns between those two guys. He did play in 15 games. That is their first round rookie. So they have a dominant 1-2 punch. He also had 52 catches. Aiden Hutchinson, 51 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, 1 interception. Alex Alonso, 129 tackles, leading their team. 7 of those tackles for loss with 3 sacks. And then Brian Branch, probably their standout corner. I think he plays the slot mainly. 74 tackles, 3 interceptions. And then Kirby Joseph has 4 interceptions, 7th in the NFL with 80 tackles and 11 passes defended. So this game here has a ton of star power on both sides of the ball. This is the Lions' first home game in 30 years. 1994 was their last. So the home crowd is going to be there in full force. A lot of Rams fans will also be in attendance. Shout out Twitter. You get the scoop on that. But it'll still be a heavily favored Lions crowd with a lot of noise. Matthew Stafford is already prepared for that. Silent counts is something, as Rob Havenstein mentioned, the Rams really do a lot in practice regardless of home or away, because at SoFi you really don't know what's going to happen. Lately it's been good, but when you play teams like the Eagles, 49ers, SoFi will really be favoring the other team's fans. So it's going to be loud, which gives us great practice for these road games because we're playing more road games than most teams. So with that, this is what Stafford has done. He built the Lions when he came over as the first overall pick. He really gave that fan base life. Made the playoffs 3 times. They did go 0-3. The game against the Cowboys. You know how games against the Cowboys go in Dallas. But Stafford still took them there with never having a great running game. typically just having one solid wide receiver, Calvin Johnson. And, you know, he had Reggie Bush. But Stafford is going to go to Detroit. And you think Stafford is going to let Jared Goff be the guy that gets it done in Detroit when he couldn't? Stafford has no pressure, right? The Rams have no pressure at all. The Rams were 3-6 and went 7-1 down the stretch to make the playoffs. Now they could have went 6-2 and still made it, but they went 7-1. Now every game they played was a playoff game for them. When they played the Saints, that was a playoff game because both teams had to win. And you see what happened to the Saints. Because they lost that game, they missed out on the playoffs, even though they had the same record as the Packers. Conference record, right? There was no head-to-head. Oh, there was actually. I think Green Bay... Did Green Bay play the Saints and beat them? Maybe they did. And that's what gave them that advantage. But nonetheless, if they beat us, they would have had 10 wins, right? And they would have been in. And then we would have been out if the standings are the way they are because we did lose to the Packers. So that was a playoff game. Jared Goff, we know Jared Goff well. We had him for 5 years. The whole revenge narrative should stop. Jared Goff, first 2 years with McVay, phenomenal. 60 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. His last two, after he got paid, were horrible. Let me bring that up. I posted it yesterday. So 60 touchdowns, 19 interceptions the first 2 years. Made the Super Bowl. Lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots. Last 2 years, 42 touchdowns, 29 interceptions with many fumbles. So he played like dog shit. And he got treated like that. Now, that's not revenge. We gave you a big contract. We gave you the opportunity. And obviously, we made the right choice because we made the Super Bowl. Last year, we dealt with injuries, went 5-12. This year, we're back in the playoffs with goals of winning another Super Bowl. And you think Matthew Stafford, especially with these fans making protests not to wear his jersey in the stadium, you think he's not going to be out for blood? Doesn't matter who he's playing, but I think he has a little more emphasis on this game, right? Next year, he's going to Detroit to play. That probably would have gave him a standing ovation. This is a playoff game. He's going to get booed. But Matthew Stafford plays well under pressure. With the Rams, Stafford's 4-0 in the playoffs, Super Bowl ring. Another man that killed it, that playoff run, that whole season, had one of the best wide receiver seasons ever, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has been a lot less utilized the last few games for good reason. And he rested against San Fran. Cooper Kupp is about to explode in this playoffs. He is ready to get his second championship. As a Rams fan, you have to feel absolutely confident. Now, I know anything can happen in football, but we know Jared Goff. We pressure Jared Goff on the inside. He's not mobile. You can create havoc. Jahmyr Gibbs is a bad pass protection back. And Ernest Jones loves to blitz. You can tell by his 4.5 sacks. So when you see Jared Goff in the shotgun with Jahmyr Gibbs there, and you see Ernest Jones inch towards that D line with Kobe Turner, Byron Jones, Jonah Williams, Bobby Brown, or Michael Hoyt, with Aaron Donald on the other side, because you know he's going to have 2 to 3 defenders on him, that blitz is coming. And is Gibbs going to pick up the protection and block Ernest Jones? I doubt it. Now, one thing you will have to watch out for is Amon St. Brown, the biggest weapon they have. He could kill you in the short routes, long routes, medium routes. The guy is just incredible, has an amazing route tree. You have to watch him, but you have to understand he is going to get his regardless, especially against the Rams because they tend to play a little back off the line. So when you do bring those blitzes, you really need to play a little closer.
Music licensing.
Because when Goff feels that pressure, he's going to get rid of it. And if you're right there, that's a pick. The Rams have yet to have a defensive touchdown, but they need to get that. And this would be a beautiful game to do it. Now, Aaron Donald versus Sewell will be the main talk with a lot of people. And Aaron Donald may not show up in the stat sheet, but what he's going to do is draw attention. And guys like Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Michael Hoyt, those guys are going to have to wreak havoc all night. You pressure Goff, the game's over. We're number 1 on inside pressures, but we're last or 31st in edge pressures, which we all know has been our weakness. Hoyt has been playing good, but off the edge, getting pressures, he's not really there. And we played a lot of mobile quarterbacks. And this is the least mobile quarterback we're going to face. So that's going to be a goal to collapse that middle, let Goff feel that pressure, and make it a long night for him. And Stafford on offense is going to throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm telling you now. You heard it here.
Music licensing.
This is not a revenge game for Stafford. This is, I'm coming into town and I'm going to put you guys down. I left, got my Super Bowl. I didn't leave for you to get a Super Bowl with facing my team. That's not happening. The Lions secondary is baby food. That is their weakness. Sutton, attack him. Branch will probably be on Cup, and I don't think he's going to be able to contain him in the slot. And Puka Nacua is very physical. Not really sure if the Lions are prepared for that. We'll see. Aiden Hutchinson's a force, right? But we've played better defensive lines. Played the Browns, the Ravens, the 49ers twice. We're ready for this. The Rams' offensive line has stepped up. Dotson was a Pro Bowl snub, All-Pro snub, because he's probably not going to get it. Probably go to Zach Martin. Havenstein, a legend. He wants another ring. And if we win that next ring this year, he may retire. But with 2 rings, God bless you, man. I mean, the plan was with this group was to win 2 to 3 rings in the Stafford era. Let's nail that second ring right now. Last year, fluke. Supposed to be back-to-back, fluke. God waited another year for us. Kept us on suspense. People saying this team was going to tank. For Caleb Williams, for Drake May. And this team is 10-7. The 6th seed heading into Detroit for Stafford and company to take out the Lions. Experience. Lions have none. Rams have plenty. From coaching to the core players. The Rams are ready. They've been in big moments. I don't know if the Lions are. Jared Goff is probably going to overthink this one. A lot of Lions are already talking about the Dallas Cowboys. That's who they want. But if you're overlooking the Rams, that's a big mistake. The hottest team in the last 8 weeks is the Los Angeles Rams at 7-1. Take with what you will. Their only loss was against the Ravens in overtime on a non-call block in the back punt return in Baltimore after their bye week. Kyron Williams, he is going to run on this defense. He is matchup proof. If McCaffrey plays the Lions, no one's going to talk about the Lions stopping him. The same energy should be used here because Kyron Williams has been running like a madman. And he's not done. He had a week off too. And we seen when he came back what he did. After that injury, We obviously played it a little safe to give him that rest. Well, now he's rested. The Lions aren't rested. They play their starters. Sam Laporta said today he's optimistic that he is going to play.
Music licensing.
So we'll see
reimagined.
if he does with his knee brace on. I want them at full strength. I want everybody playing. And we'll see what happens. But I have the Rams winning this one 30-21. Now, kicking woes with Brett Maher, we'll see. If he misses an extra point, no more kicking. It's going forward on 4th and 5. It's time to play
Artlist.io.
Madden. After we score a touchdown, it's going for 2, just like we did last week with Carson Wentz, and we won the game because of that. We're going to have to be aggressive. Dan Campbell will be aggressive as well. We'll see. The best team will win. And I think both teams, whoever wins, will go on a big
Music
streak
licensing reimagined.
because this game has a lot of eyes on it and has a lot of pressure that certain players may not be able to live up to. But on the Rams side, been there, done that. McVay's been to 2 Super Bowls. This is nothing. He's excited. He's ready. He's going to show Goff why we did trade him. It's going to be the dad telling his son, like, hey, son, this is why I took you out of this sport for a reason. I took him off this team for a reason. Anyways, Ramily. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. I'm your boy Ramsaholic, and I'm out.